Hi, all. So we've been talking a lot about Christmas stuff, and we talked about some of the things on our Christmas list for this year and our fantasy Christmas ideas. So we're going to talk about throughout our lives, some of our best Christmas gifts that we've gotten. I have a bad memory, I've realized. And I'm like, I don't honestly remember a whole lot from like before a certain age. So like, I don't know what I got for Christmas when I was younger.
You got a light bright.
I probably did get a light bright, and I did love light bright. But the point is, like, I remember like concepts, but I don't remember the specifics. So a lot of my stuff's more modern, not because like I didn't get good gifts that I liked as a kid, but I don't really remember like what was when and stuff. So I apologize in advance. I don't know if these are necessarily the 6 best things I've ever gotten, but
I'm sorry they are, or else you go to jail.
Anyway, we're each going to talk about 6, so we have 12 of the best Christmas gifts for us of all time. And I already forgot what I was going to talk about. Okay,
Light
I
bright.
guess I'm going to start with,
Gives you the power of colored light.
Light Bright is not on the list. I do like Light Bright, but anyway, I'm going to start with something that's very unique to us, in terms of being exciting. Like, I've really tried over the last 15, 20 years to not buy adorable, fluffy, cute plush things, because if I allow myself to buy them, the house would be full of them, and we already have too many stuffed animals, and then, like, they just collect dust, and, you know, at some point, I'm like, I have, like, the same Pooh Bear I've had since I was a child, like, before I was a baby, and a couple other stuffed guys, but really tried not to get too many, but sometimes I see them and I'm like, oh, I must have. And a few years ago, I saw, it was basically like, I mean, it's not life-size. I guess it was life-size if you're a kid. But this giant, like, pillow pal of Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon. And I was like, okay, I'm breaking my, like, not hiatus, not boycott. What's the word?
Ban?
Embargo.
Sure.
Embargo on stuffed guys, and I want this. And so Sir Child got me this big Toothless, and he has taken on life, and he's like, kind of like hangs out while we watch TV and stuff now, and he's like part of our day.
He has his own Christmas hat.
Yeah, so like, yeah, he's kind of taken over, and then a couple of years after that, I got a big Snorlax pillow guy. And yeah, so those, big fan of those, mostly because they've like become pets in a way, even though they're plush. Say hi.
Oh.
Yeah, that was Toothless talking. All right, what about you?
Oh yes, I got it. I thought I didn't remember, but then I did. So she's got this caveat. These are 6 best presents. Who knows, man? My brain don't work either. Who knows? So here are 6 gifts I really liked. The first one, I just got last year, in fact. So I absolutely love and obsessed with the monster cereals. You know, Frankenberry, Count Chocula, Blueberry, Yummy Mummy, Fruit Brute, the boys, the fellas, the monster cereals. I love the freaking monster cereal. I can't eat them anymore because I don't eat marshmallows. But I used to love them, and I still love the collectibles and stuff. And I received last year these cool limited edition monster cereal watches that I really love. Blueberry, Frankenberry, and Count Chocula. I don't think they did a Fruit Brute or a Yummy Mummy watch.
No, I think it was just the 3.
Damn shame. But they're limited to only like 10,000 or something like that.
Yeah, they were like a GameStop exclusive.
It was pretty cool, and they look really cool. So, I don't know, I love that kind of crap. I love monster cereal stuff. So, yeah, that was on my list.
All right, so in terms of collectibles, one of the things that is a sort of disappointment in, like, our current living situation, like, our house is nice and everything, but we live in an old house, and so the walls are essentially paper. So there are no shelves on the walls. You cannot put shelves on the walls. You can't get anything to stay on the walls. Like, if you frame a picture, good luck getting it to stay up. There's like 3 places in the house where you can hang something that's not like just paper. So as a result, like I always want like really cool collectibles, but I don't have a lot of places to put them. There's a couple places in the house that have built-ins, which we have pretty much taken over. Plus, I was saying taken over with books, and then the books have continued to, become sentient throughout the room, beyond the shelves. But so a couple of years ago, Sir Chunk got me a couple things for the last couple of years. One was a signed record. 3 of the monkeys signed it. I think Peter Tork was the one missing.
I feel like that might be right.
Yeah.
Him or Mickey Dolenz.
I'm pretty sure Mickey was on there. Yeah. But most importantly, Davy Jones is on there because I had the biggest crush on Davy Jones growing up. And so that was really cool because obviously, like, just a cool old vinyl of the monkeys is neat, and then having it signed is really cool. And then a couple of years ago, or maybe even last year, he got me a signed print, not signed and numbered print of one of Magritte's. Actually, it was the Bagheads, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Not Baghead. It's not. It's called
Lovers, right?
The Lovers. Yeah. It's just everybody calls it like Baghead crap. So, but I love the painting, and I've actually never seen the painting because it keeps being put in like storage every time. Speaking of, I know we've mentioned museums in another video, but one of the problems with museums is the stuff gets put in storage. So if I was a millionaire or a billionaire, you could lend it to me instead of putting it in storage, and I'll store it, and I can look at it. But so yeah, it's one of my favorite paintings, and it's a print of it, like his original sketches, and it was signed, and so that's pretty amazing. What's kind of funny is it came like wrapped in saran wrap, which I feel like is probably not like, acid-free like storage like best practices, but what are you gonna do?
And what did you like stuck in like a smart food bag? So
I did not. It's framed. I just haven't hung it up because we have no walls.
So she was like, "Oh, I need some toilet paper. Where's that Marguerite sketch?"
Oh my God! I just got to figure out like one of the inches that has like the ability to hang things and take something off or put it above it.
Okay. So my next one is a little bit of a cheating combo. We're gonna do this a couple times, and I think I don't remember what year I was in college, but this human got me a PlayStation when PlayStations came out, and I had stopped playing. I played video games when I was a little kid for a while, and like NES and stuff, and then I kind of stopped for a while. And then I was playing on like this little junky Sega that I had, but I wasn't like playing much. It's just like 2 games I would play over and over again when I was like super bored. And then she got me this PlayStation 1 thing, and dang it, it ruined my life. Because I was like, I love these video games now. They're so good. The PlayStation 1 was such a
It's like the renaissance of video games,
it was crazy. There were so many incredible freaking games. And then I'm also going to include Resident Evil 3, which I actually believe I got from my parents, because that was the first Resident Evil that came out after I had gotten a PlayStation, because 1 and 2 had already come out by the time I got my PlayStation, so I had played them, and I was like, these are amazing. So when 3 came out, it was new, and I was like so hyped up to get that game, because I loved the first 2 so much. I was like, I gotta have this freaking game! That's the voice I used, so you can tell that I was very serious about it. So PlayStation, the original, and then RE3 Nemesis.
So, as we kind of clarified, I do not have expensive tastes. I have expensive tastes in the fact that I like a lot of things, and I want to have like a lot of books, and I'm not like, I wouldn't say I'm like a consumer materialistic person, but I just like have a lot of interests, and I'm always like, oh, I want that thing, but there's none of them are very expensive things. But just to kind of emphasize this, and also kind of to prove I'm not much different than our cats, one year, Sir Chonk bought me a bunch of Christmas presents and some like really nice stuff, including, I'm pretty sure, like the first Swamp Thing comic, which is not cheap. But my favorite gift that year was this thing he put in my stocking. And it was a big bag of like those black hair elastics. And I was so excited because I didn't ask for them. It was just Sir Chonk had noticed that like I was running low, and I was always looking for a hair elastic, and I couldn't always find one, and I was always getting annoyed because my hair would like fall out of like my standard, like, messy sort of ponytail thing. And so he went out of his way and said, I notice she wears those hair elastics a lot. And also, she never seems to have enough of them. And they all seem to, like, get eaten by, like, monsters or something. So he bought me, it was like a 3-pack of bags of hair elastics.
I went all out on the hair elastics. Splurged.
Yep. And he was like, what was your favorite gift, you think, this Christmas? I was like, the hair ties. And he was like, well, I'm glad I bought you that, first Swamp Thing comic.
And a bunch of other crazy stuff, but the $6 hair ties that really get the job done. So from now on, nothing but hair ties.
It was such a, like, thoughtful present, and, like, it was just, it meant a lot to me, and I was like, oh, you're paying attention to me.
I am the sweetest person on the earth.
Anyway, so that was a thing that was, sadly, was, like, I was so happy with, because it was just so practical and useful, and I was just like, oh, thank God, I need hair ties.
Mm-hmm. Well, like anything that's practical. So, when I think it's my first year in college, I want to say. So I'd been to a number of concerts, of course, over the course of my life in high school, but they were all like sort of bigger stadium show things.
Michael W. Smith?
You know what I mean? No, not freaking Michael W. Smith. That's your crap. Anyway, and my friend was like, let's go see this band that I had not really heard of until like a little bit before that, called Sugar. And it was at a smaller sort of venue. And we went to this thing, and I was like, holy crap, on a bag of bagels, this is amazing. And I became obsessed with like small shows. I went to like 30 freaking concerts in like 3 months or something like that. It was ridiculous. But anyway, that's not the point.
Yeah, we all went through that phase in like the 90s.
I was going like 3 and 4 shows like a week. And they were so cheap. Like the show's like $5. So, like I didn't have a lot of money. I was in college, but like I still was like finding the $5 to go. It was great. But anyway, that's not important. The point is, I became obsessed with this band, Sugar. I loved it. My friend had this album, Fuel, file under easy listening. It was not easy listening music. And we listened to it, and I like became so obsessed with this album. I wanted it so bad that I could have just gotten it, but I asked for it for Christmas because I kind of wanted, like, you know, you want to have like that delayed gratification thing or whatever. I don't really know, but I was obsessed with getting this album, and so I asked for it, and I got it for Christmas. It's like $12 or whatever. But I was so hyped up to get this freaking album. I played the hell out of that thing. It was awesome. One of my favorite albums of all time. Copper Blue by Sugar, also amazing.
I also got that.
Copper Blue?
No, file under easy listening.
What?
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
I didn't get it for Christmas. I just randomly got it.
The hell, you ruined my Christmas.
Sorry.
Again.
Anyway, I think I got it from like Columbia House Records when I
Jones and now this.
So another one for me, and this is a very, very specialized gift. I don't know how much it cost. It might have cost a ton of money. It could have been like a $12 gift, but it was very exciting for me. I absolutely love, and we've covered this, I love 90s horror, like teen horror, and I love Christopher Pike. Christopher Pike was like my favorite author for most of my teen years. I just absolutely loved his books. I would read anything he put out. I was so excited when he'd have a new book. I would like go to the bookstore and just like buy all the Christopher Pike, and then like I owned them all, and then over time like I ended up giving them to like my sister, or they got lost, or my mom probably they got lost in the move or whatever nonsense. And so I'm like in the process of recollecting them all. And I think it was last Christmas, maybe, Sir Chong managed to find a copy of Sati, which is Christopher Pike's adult novel, which isn't even one of his better ones. But it was signed. And there's no COA or anything. So, like, for all I know, some person just pretended they were Christopher Pike and signed it.
I pretended to be Christopher Pike.
And that might be the case, but I also don't know that, like, there's a huge market to do that, so I feel like most people just wouldn't care. So I don't know why they would bother. And so it's like a numbered, signed Christopher Pike book. And I was just like, that's insane, because it's impossible to find. Like, I don't even know what the guy looks like. And so, yeah, like, I absolutely love Christopher Pike. And hey, Christopher Pike, if you're listening to this, I love your books. Write some more books.
Yeah. You too, Ray Breb. Oh, never mind. Anyway, so let's move on to the next thing, which is a thing. Oh yes, got it. Cold Girl's trying to like subtly tip me off, and I'm like, I'm not getting any of the signals, but I just have to remember. So, as the theme goes, of me constantly collecting things like the crazy pack rat hoarder that I am, I love collecting RPG like rule books, in particular D&D ones. And one of my favorite gifts I ever got was there's a pretty rare version of what's now. The newer version is called Legends and Lore, but sort of the original sort of print run of this particular book, I believe, is called Deities and Demigods. And what made this one so unique is it had the Cthulhu myths in there. So it's like this book's basically a collection of like all various cultures, like myths and like their gods and goddesses and heroes and stuff. It's freaking awesome. Arthurian legends and stuff there. It's a great book. But this particular version had the Cthulhu myths, which are really rare. They cut them out of the future printings for some reason. I'm not sure why. So this book's really hard to find.
Lovecraft is a racist.
Yeah, maybe. So these books are really hard to find, and they're kind of on the expensive side. So it's super cool. I love that. It's the best probably part of all of my RPG collection. That's probably like the number one highlight of that.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool book.
It is, yeah.
I had to track it down. And it's really hard buying this kind of stuff online because, like, sometimes people lie or they don't know, and they're like, oh, it's this edition, and then you're like, no, it's not, because you can tell, like, sometimes the covers are the same, but yeah, that's why so when I was looking, I was like, I want to see those pictures of that Cthulhu,
mm-hmm.
and so it had some pictures.
With this little spaghetti maw.
Yeah.
I have Cthulhu slippers. They're fiendishly adorable.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, yes, Lovecraft was racist, but, like, it's, like, a little harder to, like, not that you don't care, but, like, you kind of give a little more of a pass to somebody, like, from 70 years ago. Like, you know, if it's an author now, I'm like, oh, you're a racist. Nah, I don't need to read your books. I mean, you know, like, what are you doing? You know, like, what are you...
It's too late for Cthulhu to have, like, an apology tweet.
Right, like, Lovecraft can't have learned his lesson. Maybe he wouldn't
not Lovecraft, Cthulhu.
Oh, right. Well, I don't think Cthulhu is a racist. I think Cthulhu is, you know, an ancient elder god, and
Azathoth is the racist. That's right.
Oh, maybe.
Anyway.
All right. We'll be back. Okay. So, this next one is sort of a combination of probably a gift I got as a kid and then a re-gift, sort of. Not a re-gift of, like, the same gift, but getting it back, essentially. So, when I was a kid, I was really into, like, you know, all the things that girls my age were into in, you know, the 80s, which was, like, My Little Pony and Strawberry Shortcake and Holly Hobby and, of course, Rainbow Bright and She-Ra and all that. And I loved, one of my friends had Rainbow Bright, and I didn't get Rainbow Bright, and I think partially because, like, Rainbow Bright was expensive and hard to get, and my parents went to the store and it was out, and they were like, look, they got this Patio Green, that's who's left, that's who you're getting. And, like, at the time, you know, I didn't care, I didn't know anything, I was just like, whatever. And because of the fact that that's the one I got, I was obsessed with Patio Green, and I carried that doll with me everywhere. I loved Patio Green. I don't know what happened to Patio Green as I was growing up. Again, probably got lost in the move with my Vans and basically everything else. Yeah. But I remember, I mean, I loved Patio Green so much that when I'd get grounded, when I was like a troublemaker when I was little, my mom would like take Patio Green. Like I would get grounded and I would take my doll away. So like that's how much I love Patio Green. So a couple of years ago, Sir Chonk was like, so I'm looking at some stuff on eBay for you. And before I like consider spending any of this money, I want to make sure this is a thing you would or would not actually want. And he found a full-size Patio Green doll still in the box. And he was like, is this a thing you would want? And I was like, nah, that's silly. Like, that's too much money. Like, it wasn't like ridiculously expensive or anything, but it was just kind of like, I don't need it for, you know, for more than like $5, right? Like, what am I going to do with it? And then like a couple hours later, I was like sitting sadly and thinking about how much I like used to love that doll, and quietly was like, if that Patio Green's still available, I wouldn't mind it. And so he did get me the Patio Green, and I have it. And right now she's just sitting on a shelf, yeah, and like one of the few shelves that's not like on a wall, that fits on a table. I gotta do some really big reorganizing of my life and all of our rooms and stuff. But yeah, so I have my Patio Green, and like not really have nothing to do with it. There's no point to having it, but I'm very happy because she's there and she's intact and she's in her patio green happy doll face. And she comes with Sprite.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Her little guy. Yeah, that's because she's Irish. And I mean, I don't know. Is it racist? Is that like cultural appropriation?
I think more so
of like, yeah, like of Irish culture?
Or what if patio green was invented by an Irish person?
I don't know.
Does that make it okay?
I don't know.
There's too many rules. I don't know. I'm just not going to get offended by anything and move on.
Yeah, I'm not offended by patio green. I don't think anyone is, so.
Yeah. I'll avoid doing a stereotypical offensive Irish accent at this time.
All right.
So that's my gift to you. All right. So once again, my obsession with collectibles continues to work its way through this list. And of course, my number one collectible thing is comic books. And I've gotten a lot of comics over the years that are pretty awesome. But I would say two of my favorites. I'm using two because I cheat. I'm going to cheat on the next one really bad, by the way. The last one is a big cheating section. But anyway, two things I would say they are Action Comics 242. First appearance of Brainiac. I love villains. Brainiac's an awesome Superman villain. I don't really like Superman that much, but I like a lot of his villains. Brainiac is certainly one of, if not the coolest. Is he also
in the thing that you collect?
Legion of Doom, yep. I collect Legion of Doom characters. He appears once in a while. I don't think is he officially in Legion of Doom? I feel like he might not be. But let's just say that he is. And anyway, he's really one of the best Superman villains. And also, I got Amazing Spider-Man 9, which is the first appearance of Electro, one of the more shocking Spider-Man villains. Not the Shocker, but Electro.
You also have Shocker, don't you?
Yeah, that's not anywhere near as good a shape. But still, yeah, the Electro is really nice. The Action Comics is really nice. So yeah, I love villains. Those are two great villains, and I got those for Christmas. So skaboop.
Yeah, so my last one is really very much a guess. Sir Chunk was like, this might be a thing you might like. And this was probably like 20 years ago at this point, 15 years ago. And Sir Chunk yelled at me from the other room one night. I think he was like playing like online poker or something. It like happened to be like on eBay too. Mm-hmm. And this was back in the day where we had like a desktop computer. That's how long ago it was. And he said, hey, listen, I heard about some game and it's like half the time you're going to be like going to school during the day and then you have to like make friends with people and your friendships like affect like whether you power up and level up certain skills. And then at night you walk around a dungeon and fight monsters. So it's like an RPG. I don't know. So it sounds kind of like Final Fantasy meets The Sims. Is that a thing you would want? And I was like, that sounds like it might be cool.
I didn't say that a thing you want. I go, this sounds like their perfect game in the world for you. What do you think?
Yeah. And so I was like, yeah, that sounds like it could be worth trying. And, okay, folks. It was Persona 3. And anyone who knows Persona 3 or knows me understands that this was the greatest find in the history of my life. Because not only was it the kind of game I would like, or the perfect game for me, it was the culmination of all things that video games exist to do, and every satisfying element of a video game in one. And I played the hell out of it. And then I got Persona 3 FES, or whatever the heck it was. And then I played the hell out of that. And then Persona 4 came out. And I got that, and I played the hell out of that. And then Persona 4 Golden came out, and I got that and played the hell out of that. And then Persona 5 came out, and I played that like 6 times. Okay, yeah. And then I got Persona 5 Royal, and I played that like 6 times. And then I found out Persona 4 was moved to Xbox, and I'd only played these on the PlayStations. And then I was like, what? And so then I replayed it on Xbox a couple times. And I tried playing they ported the portable version of Persona 3 to Xbox, and I was starting it, but it was like really hard to play because it's like very dated now. And then a friend of mine was like, hey, should I play this portable Persona 3 or should I wait for the remastered? And I said, excuse me? Tell me more. And then he pointed out that as of this upcoming February, Persona 3 will be relaunched and remastered to be played again. And guess what? I'm going to be playing it again. And all because Sir Chonk happened to be on eBay and said, well, this looks like some crap she'd like. And Yes.
That's how most
It
of
was
my
very much crap I
Christmas-
liked.
That's how most of my Christmas shopping goes. This seems like the kind of garbage she would be interested
And
in.
it was very much the kind of garbage I like. And it's my favorite game of all time, my favorite series of all time, everything about it. I absolutely love the Persona games. And, yeah, so that was 100% a win. And now I'm obsessed.
All right. So for my last one, I'm definitely cheating. This is like more of a genre of materials than one particular gift. But when I was a youngish lad, I played with a lot of action figures and action figure playsets and vehicles and stuff, and I loved them. So whether it was Masters of the Universe or Star Wars or whatever, but the top thing for me was G.I. Joe. Now there was one side thing I want to mention that was not really the same thing. It was called Pork Chop Hill, which is like one of those
Do you
Army
have that
Man
still?
things. I don't think so. My mom probably set it on fire like most of my stuff. Pork Chop Hill, which is just like an Army Man playset, but they had like obstacles and like bases and stuff. That was awesome. But what I really want to talk about is the various G.I. Joe things that I had over the years that were awesome. The Rattler, the Sky Striker, the Awe Striker, the Hiss Tank. So many awesome things. But my favorite, it was pretty great, was the G.I. Joe Command Center. It was basically like a base where you could set up your Joe dudes, and there were spaces for vehicles and little places to hide and areas to shoot from and cannons to set up and a little jail. It was awesome. And you could set all your dudes up, and they could defend the base from the various evil monstrosities that would attack, which would be literally whatever other toys I had. Right, so sometimes it would be the Cobra bad guys that's supposed to fight them. Sometimes it would be like just troll dolls because that's what I had, so they would like attack and get shot by G.I. Joe guys. Who knows, right? A stray teddy bear. No one knows what could be attacking them that day.
Do you still have that?
No, I don't have anything. My mom set it all on
You
fire.
have Castle Grayskull.
I have Castle Grayskull, yes, and I have the Black Mamba, and I have my Millennium Falcon. I have a Y-wing, but I don't think I have most of my G.I. Joe stuff. Is
The
El
playsets,
Gonzo. Yeah. I don't have my Dagobah anymore. I don't have this Death Star. Anyway, the point is, there was all kinds of fun, ridiculous play sets, and the G.I. Joe Command Center was a double gift for me and my brother together, because it was this huge thing. And it was amazing. And we played with that crap out of that thing all the time. I loved it. Go, Joe.
So, speaking of playsets, last
What?
Christmas or...
No, let's not even talk about
No,
this.
it's fun because everybody needs to know why no one can trust
This
you.
is just a waste of time.
So, I think it was 2 Christmases ago.
Right at the end of last year.
Okay, right after Christmas, we happened to be like scrolling around YouTube or something, and someone had a thing, and for some reason it was like an ad for Snake Mountain, which is a Masters of the Universe playset.
Yes.
And Sir Chunk went, "Oh my God, I always wanted that so bad. I always wanted Snake." Listen,
It was the
he
most
said,
obvious sarcasm
"No, it was
you've
not."
ever heard
He
in
said,
your life.
"I always wanted that," and all he does is complain about how his mom threw out all of his GI Joe stuff.
She did do that. But no, here's what happened. Let's clarify the story. You were like, "What's this Snake Mountain thing? Would you want that?" I go, "Of course."
He did not. I didn't ask if he'd want it.
I can't believe you didn't get me that for Christmas. That was obviously the thing I wanted most, which obviously was bullcrap.
No, he said, "I've always wanted Snake Mountain."
Yeah, and I also had mentioned to you that like that was the thing I wanted most. I've always wanted it, but like I had never mentioned it to her one time ever. So it was obviously me screwing around.
Yeah, but I don't know
it was
what.
Obviously, I'm kidding around, lying.
I didn't know what play sets he had, and I know his mom got rid of all of them. So I promptly went out to eBay and found the Snake Mountain playset. And now we still have Snake Mountain sitting in a box.
I didn't want it. I was just being a jerk.
And now I don't know what we're supposed to do with Snake Mountain. So
Whatever. I'll ask Castle Grayskull. I'll just have them fight. The two playsets will do battle with each other.
Well, I'm sure you still have some guys.
No, my mom set them on fire. I don't have any Master Universe guys anymore.
You have Warduke.
He's not Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, but he can fight.
Yeah, they're a little small though. Like the G.I. Joe Star Wars guys and D&D guys are too small for like the giant ass stuff.
Oh, well.
Because they're built for like the huge Master Universe guys.
They
anyway,
are.
whatever.
What's up with the huge Masters of the Universe?
They're not huge, but they're like twice the size almost.
I thought they were tiny.
They're like twice the size.
Shira was small.
I can't comment on Shira's size.
Shira's like, I don't know, they were like 8 inches, not even, like 6 inch tall,
Yeah,
like 5
like
inches.
Well, like the Star Wars G.I. Joe guys like 4.5 inches.
Yeah, they're
and
like
the
that.
Master Universe guys like 7
Aren't the
inches or
G.I.
something.
Joe guys huge?
No, they're smaller than the Masters of the Universe.
No, they're like 12
People
inches.
don't want to hear this end of the video. If you tuned out, you should have. You should have already shut this
Wait,
video
no,
off.
I bought
Why
you.
are you still listening
I
to
bought
this?
you Storm Shadow, and he's like a foot tall.
He's not an action figure. He's like a little doll guy. It's different.
He's a doll?
Yeah.
He admits it. G.I. Joe are dolls.
Action dolls. What do I care? It's like a swivel arm battle grip. They'll beat the hell out of any other doll.
Well, you have him. You can take Storm Shadow out of the box, and nerds everywhere can cry.
Great. Anyway.
He's not taking him out of the box.
I'm not. Boop.